Hey guys, welcome to book review 102, I believe. Today I will be reviewing a portrait of Thailand by David Devoss. Um, anyway, I'm kind of going from this angle today because this book, on that page, or that page, is kind of a combination of kind of the history and culture of the Philippines as well as very extensive photo area. Um, Kind of starts out in southern Thailand, goes through northern Thailand, then covers kind of around Chiang Mai, and then pretty extensively covers the Bangkok area, and finally finishes with a short section in the province of Isan in the northeast. And that pretty much is what makes up Thailand. So anyway, I'm going to try to do this fast. I don't want to leave you too long with this review. Mostly I just want to show you a lot of these photos, which are very cool. You can see this is all in southern Thailand, obviously along the Gulf. This is a huge picture book. I guess southern Thailand is primarily Muslim. It's kind of was historically separate from the central Thais and the empires of Siam. But, ooh, is this already in? Yeah, that already went out of southern Thailand already. But a little bit more about southern Thailand. It's where a lot of the big resorts are. It's where a lot of yeah, that's cool. It's where a lot of more of the kind of lime, coconut curry flavored cuisine of Thailand comes from, whereas the northern parts of Thailand tend to be more like noodles, tend to be a lot more lemongrass based, much like Vietnam. This primarily being tend to be more around like poultry and meats rather than seafood. This is obviously because the Gulf of Thailand is in the south, whereas the north of Thailand is, except for rivers, kind of landlocked. This is kind of northern Thailand. This covers a lot of the kind of ruins, the ancient heart of Thailand that was invaded numerous times by the Burmese, as well as the Khmer Rouge, or Khmers. It's in modern Cambodia. There's a little bit on Chiang Mai, the capital of the far north. You can see there's a lot of temples in this area. I believe also Payamata. I'm sure I absolutely butchered that, but it was the capital of Thailand. There were a couple actually. The other one I'm kind of having trouble remembering. I think it started with an A. As I said, this isn't exactly a real highfalutin review. Ooh, it's a snake. Deadly cobra. Some ancient dress. Let's kind of skip ahead a little bit here. Now you can see some Buddhist imagery up in the hills. Far north Thailand has a lot of the what do you call it? Opium trade that became very infamous. But now the government in central Bangkok has taken a very aggressive crop replacement and had some subsidies for the farmers that are willing to do crop replacement itself. That's a really cool way of catching fish, just like a giant fishing net. You can see, I think those are, is that terraced rice fields? I think it is. Yeah, you can tell these are sort of like terraced rice fields that go all the way up the hill. Famous throughout Asia, really, but in any mountainous part of Asia. Now, it's Bangkok. This really covered very extensively the temples of Bangkok, kind of the way people got around on boats, modern Bangkok, ancient Bangkok. Yeah, it's cool. There's some more. Parliament House. You can see all this. These are all either like, most of these were built in the 16th 16 to 1900s, maybe even more like the 17 to 1900s. After I believe it was in the 1670s, don't quote me on that, the Burmese invaded the ancient capital of Thailand, which I talked about earlier, and razed it to the ground. And the Thais had to move, in which case they moved to the more by a river position. Oh, sorry, guys. By a more river position, a more fortified area of Thailand. That being what eventually wound up being Bangkok. Bangkok's interesting in that it actually has a name that's like 16 words each that are, you know, multiple syllables. So it's really, really long, but everyone just calls it Bangkok. Ooh, here's kind of a cool thing. Those look like Balinese dancers, but I believe they're actually just more like Thai dancers. I guess you can see kind of the Thailand definitely, even though it's a Buddhist country, has much more influence from just culturally from Hinduism and India than the true Far East, say like China or Korea or Japan do. I guess those countries do in a religious sense, but you see a lot more of kind of the you see a lot more of it in the cuisine. You see a lot more of it in the architecture of just kind of the strong influence that the Indian missionaries had on what eventually became Thai culture. It's a ceremony where they're going to slaughter that cow. It's pretty cool. There we go. More women dancing. Sorry if it's a little blurry, guys. I'm not sure I got exactly the best resolution here. I don't know where that is. Maybe that's it's like the floating markets, which are very famous in Bangkok. I think that this is right off the beach in Bangkok. Let's see. Let's skip ahead a little bit. Payana, there it is. Oh no, that's not it. That's different. That's a modern beach resort that's kind of come around. I think this is, see, there's northwest Thailand. That's kind of where it ends. I think the end of this chapter kind of covers some of the areas around Bangkok. Let's see, a girl, she's praying. Ooh, Muay Thai, very famous. Yeah, this is cool. I might be going on a little excessively here, but I kind of want to look back at this book a little bit myself. Some more of the floating markets, you know, some of the stuff sold in the markets, more floating markets. Crazy hat lady. Okay, we saw this. Yeah, let's skip ahead. Okay, so northeast Thailand, this is the last chapter. Kind of covers the very poor but rugged Asan area, which also kind of ironically, although it's historically been poor and is actually still very poor, has a couple areas dedicated to, one was a long-term U.S. military base, during the Vietnam War, which brought a lot of wealth into the region. The other one being a refugee site for people coming out of specifically Laos, but also a little bit Cambodia and Vietnam after the communists took over, and there was a lot of kind of, not big money, but money to create sort of an economy around the refugees there. Now, the other way that they were talking, or two other ways that they were talking about the way people in Assam, which the soil is very poor, so it's harder to like grow rice and stuff. People are really just kind of skimming by on the skin of their teeth. The two other ways that people make money in Assam to kind of get by. One is silkworm farming. I don't know if we'll see that or not around here. Yeah, it looks like it's the end of the chapter. The other one being, let's see if I can find it. The other one being, yeah, there's the silkworm stuff. Silkworm, and then there's more like the finished product. Silkworms being what obviously makes silk, is a way that's actually like a fairly decent, profitable cash income rather than pure agriculture, which almost has zero, particularly rice, unless you're doing it on a large scale, has almost zero net good. You're just doing it for kind of agrarian or sustenance living. The other one is that a lot of Assam people go to Bangkok to either become sort of like maids in households or work menial jobs, or more kind of, not disturbingly, I think that's judgmental, but yeah, I guess we'll say more disturbingly, a lot of people, young women in Assam, get into the prostitution industry in Bangkok, which, well, I don't really want to end on that note, but kind of is definitely a part of Thailand. But I won't end it on that note because, see, you can see Muay Thai fighting. I mentioned that earlier. There's so much to the culture and peoples of Thailand. So many colors, so many textures, religions. Yeah, it's really just all these temples. It's really a phenomenal culture. So, if you guys get a chance, I'm gonna just do one more flip through, kind of quick flip through to show you, country scenery, all that kind of stuff. To just kind of get a few last glimpses. Yeah, A Portrait of Thailand by David Devoss. All right, check it out, you guys. Bye.